So the Dubai Airshow was recently on at Dubai World Central from the 17th to 21st of November 2019. This airshow is the largest aviation event in the Middle East and African region, a hugely important market where both manufacturers are fighting for the larger part of this multi-billion-dollar affair. Before we have a look at the announcements, let's have a look at what the titans of the skies, i.e. mainly Airbus and Boeing, as well as some smaller manufacturers, have to display at the show. Starting with Embraer, the company mostly showcased its portfolio of private corporate jets. The company is using the Dubai Airshow to showcase its smaller Praetor 500 and Phenom 300 series corporate jets. Not surprising given that the Middle East is full of billionaires potentially looking for private transport, making it a large and important market for private jets. Airbus, Boeing, as well as other smaller manufacturers like Bombardier are also likely to showcase their corporate jets at the show. Emirates, for example, will display their one and only ACJ319 corporate jet for lease. The airplane features a unique cabin filled with first-class suites similar to its A380 airplanes. Honda Jet will also bring their new improved Honda Jet called the Elite Jet. This small private jetliner is likely to turn heads with its unique engine placement over the wings, allowing for a quieter cabin. Moving on to defense and military, Airbus has brought its flagship military cargo transporter, the capable turboprop-powered A400M, to display at the show. Airbus hopes to get more customers from other countries on board, of which Indonesia could potentially be one of them. The C295 will also be displayed at the show. Lockheed Martin will fly an F-22 at the show, while an F-35 will also be displayed. Boeing could have also posted updates on their space programs, though that was not the main focus for the show. Instead, their main focus was to display an F-15E fighter, a MV-22 tri-rotor helicopter, and their KC-46A tanker. The UAE will represent Boeing by showcasing a CH-47F Chinook helicopter. Before we look at the fight for orders and announcements, let's have a look at what the duo have brought to the show. Airbus Aircraft brought their entire line of airplane families, from the brand spanking latest new A220 recently delivered to Egypt Air, right up to its flagship A380. It may seem weird that two A380s, one from Emirates and one from Etihad, are brought to the show given the production of new A380s will shut down in 2021. However, Airbus is using this airshow to promote a second-hand market for older A380s. Airbus views older second-hand A380s as a great opportunity for airlines that never studied A380s to consider the airplane. Their argument is that a second-hand A380 has about the same residual value as a second-hand 777-300ER, but has much higher passenger appeal even if it is a second-hand model. Airbus will be actively pushing the second-hand A380 market during this show. In the more prosperous medium-sized wide-body category, the company will fly one of its A330-900 flight test airplanes in the flying display. Airbus is also definitely proud to showcase one of its most recently delivered A350 XWB airplanes, an A350-900 to Fiji Airways. The media will be able to check out the new cabin products on board the highly praised A350 cabin. Needless to say, Airbus hopes to capture more customers with its A330neo and A350 wide-body family of airplanes. Both of Airbus wide-body family of airplanes will participate at the show. Dubai's largest airline, Emirates, placed orders for 50 of the A350s. While the A350 has been popular in the Middle East with Qatar Airways kicking things off as a launch customer, The A330neo has received little orders from this region, and Airbus certainly hopes to get more orders from the Middle East for the next generation of the reliable and popular A330 airplane. Boeing, on the other hand, is likely to focus mainly on services and updates on its aircraft programs. As expected, they are likely to provide news about two of their troubled aircraft programs, the 737 MAX and 777X. The 737 MAX will likely enter service next year and will only be certified early next year, though there are doubts amongst the media as to whether certain airlines will be willing to take delivery of their MAX airplanes. The media is also expecting updates on the timeline of return to service. Boeing themselves will be bringing a mock-up of its highly anticipated but delayed 777X jet to the show. The mock-up will showcase the next generation of Boeing's sky interior found on the 777X, while a virtual reality experience will showcase the airplane to customers. Both of these exhibits are also open to public, which is good to see. However, on the commercial side, Boeing will be facing pressure as to the state of its 777X program, with large customers like Emirates considering swapping orders to smaller airplanes like the 787. The 777-8 program is also facing uncertainty, with its order book potentially shrinking. Could airlines like Qatar act on their words to upsize 777-8 orders to the larger Dash 9 variant should the Dash 9 have impressive performances? The 777X is also delayed, with its first flight not expected till early 2020 and deliveries to begin only in 2021. The airplane has had engine delays and cargo door blowouts during testing prior to first flight. Nevertheless, the company will recover from their toughest crisis yet, with impressive airplanes like a 787 sporting Boeing's new Employee Community Fund livery during the airshow. That airplane will also be flying in the flying display. Another 787-9 from Etihad and a 777-300ER from Emirates end things off for the commercial airplanes on the Boeing stack. Looking into the future, both airplane manufacturers will showcase interesting concepts at the show, with Airbus teasing an all-new electric small 100-seater short-range jet by 2030s and Boeing bringing their passenger air vehicle to the static display. An interactive display at the 360-degree theater will also showcase Boeing's vision for the future of mobility. And now for the biggest talk that you and I actually care about surrounding any airshow: the fight for supremacy in the largest duopoly of any industry, Airbus versus Boeing. Starting with the letter B, Boeing and Biman Bangladesh announced an order for two 787 airplanes worth $585 million USD. This deal marks the first to both companies. For one, it is the first order placed at this year's show. And secondly, this is the first order from Biman for the larger Dash 9 variant of the 787. Biman has had great success with its current 4 of the smaller Dash 8 variant of the Dreamliner, with the airline opening a new non-stop flight from its hub in Dhaka to Medina, Saudi Arabia. With its high levels of fuel efficiency and perfect size for today's market, the 787 has been a market opener for many airlines. The new larger Dash 9 variant, with its higher capacity of 298 passengers across Biman's 3-class configuration and increased cargo capabilities, will extend Biman's success, with them utilizing the two long-range members of the 787 family. Mr. Stan Paul, the new president and CEO of Boeing Commercial Airplanes, commented, quote, "The two will form a profitable route network solution for Biman." This deal for Biman is also the first for Boeing at the airshow, of hopefully many more to come over the next 4 days. And indeed it was. This wasn't the only deal for the 787, with African-based Ghana Air placing an order for 3 Boeing 787 airplanes. The MOU was signed by the Ghanaian government himself and Boeing at a delayed press conference that was held up due to Dubai Airshow security. You may be asking at this point, what is Ghana Air and did it exist previously? Well, Ghana Air is a flag carrier of the Republic of Ghana. It previously operated out of its Toka International Airport in Accra with its fleet of Airbus and McDonnell Douglas aircraft, mostly supplied by other carriers. However, following huge debts from operations and the government's refusal to bail the airline out for any longer, the airline collapsed in 2004 and was liquidated in 2005. However, now it seems the government is ready to make a comeback. The government-owned airline is attempting to go around with its fresh fleet of state-owned Boeing 787-9 Dreamliners. While this deal is only an MOU, a firm legally binding contract should be signed within months as normal practice in the aviation industry. The airplane's production's TV channel wishes the Ghanaian government all the best with this beautiful fleet of modern Dreamliners. Day 4 was when we saw the next Dreamliner announcement, and probably the biggest announcement over at the Boeing Chalet. On Day 4 at the Dubai Airshow, Emirates called a press conference, of which there were some big announcements that confirms what everyone in the aviation industry has been speculating and waiting for. Emirates will essentially be converting 24 of their 777X orders to 30 787 Dreamliner orders. The 30 787-9s will be worth at list prices $8.8 billion USD, though Emirates is likely to pay none of that. It is still unclear which variant of the 777X in their order book they have swapped orders for, the long-range 777-8 or the larger -9. However, doing the math, it is easy to see that the converter orders were likely of the -8 variant, given that 24 777-8s would add up to USD 9.84 billion, while 24 777-9s will add up to more than 10 billion. This is all speculation on my part, as it could be entirely possible that a mix of both variants were involved in the conversion. Deliveries of this new deal of Dreamliners will begin in 2023. The next few orders we'll look at is arguably most important, giving one of the company's products a huge boost and even what some will call a lifeline. They were certainly a breakthrough that the company could not have even hoped for. Right at the start of Day 2, Sun Express Airlines, based in Turkey, firmed up its options for 10 more MAX airplanes. This deal is worth USD 1.2 billion at list prices, though given Boeing's crisis with the MAX, this lucky customer likely got a huge discount over at Boeing. These 10 airplanes joined Sun Express' previous firm order for 32, taking the grand total to 42. This comes after a long order drought for Boeing's single-aisle 737 MAX, while they could only admire Airbus rack up huge orders for their A320neo even before the show. The previous order for 200 MAX airplanes from IAG was placed nearly half a year ago during the Paris Airshow 2019, and till now it wasn't confirmed. Hence, this order from Sun Express is certainly good news for the company who has been stricken by its MAX program. In a statement, Mr. Stan Paul, the new CEO of Boeing Commercial Airplanes, stated, quote, "We are honored and humbled by the trust that Sun Express has placed in our team at Boeing." Fortunately for Boeing, this MAX order wasn't a one-off, with Air Astana signing for 30 MAX 8 airplanes. The airline will delegate these airplanes to its new subsidiary, Fly Aristan. The airline was started in May of this year and is a low-cost carrier. This will allow Air Astana to compete in the fast-growing low-cost carrier market in Central Asia. Air Aristan plans to grow to a fleet of 15 aircraft by 2022, up from its fleet of only 3 A320ceo airplanes today. Needless to say, this lucky customer also probably nicked a huge discount from the list price of 3.6 billion USD given Boeing's appetite to get MAX orders. An undisclosed customer placed orders for 20 more MAX jets, 10 MAX 7 and 10 MAX 10 airplanes. Some other interesting occurrences at the American giant in aviation included them signing and launching a new environmental-related project with an airline from the Middle East. On day 2 of the airshow, Boeing, in conjunction with Etihad Airways, launched the Dreamliner, a special variant of the Dreamliner soon to be delivered to the airline. According to Etihad's CEO, this 787 will act as a flying laboratory to test new technologies, further reducing the environmental and financial costs of flying. The airline aims for this Dreamliner to be 20% more fuel efficient than other aircraft in its fleet. You can learn more about this initiative by checking out the Dreamliner in detail through clicking the pop-up banner now. For F-geeks wanting to be the first to fly this new 787 variant, the airplane will debut next year, January 2020, between Abu Dhabi and Brussels, and that would end things off for Boeing's 2019 Dubai Airshow. Overall though, it was clear which manufacturer soared highest during this year's Dubai Airshow, and that of course was Airbus. Things kicked off with a huge order from Emirates, firming up 50 A350XWB orders. This order is a modification for their initial commitment to swap their remaining A380 orders to 40 A330-900neo and 30 A350 airplanes. This new deal essentially replaces the original deal, hence Emirates is now likely to take only the A350s, albeit 20 more than originally planned. The company has also announced that the A330neo orders are cancelled. After all, this is an airline that has been fickle-minded regarding its fleet plans and aircraft orders. In terms of order value, Airbus no longer posts list prices of their aircraft since 2018, a move which many in the industry question. And it is certainly a weird move on Airbus' part, as list prices act as a rough gauge of each product's position in the market. At 2018 list prices, this deal is worth $16 billion USD. In a market which Airbus dominates, the single-aisle market, the company failed to disappoint. Things kicked off with a huge 120 airplane deal with Air Arabia for the A320neo family, ranging from 73 A320neos, 23 A321neos, and 21 of the XLRs. The list price for this salad of an aircraft order, $14 billion USD at 2018 list prices. This is also the airline's first order for the XLR, the new longest range variant of the A321neo. With its longer range of 4,700 nautical miles and low trip costs, it will allow Air Arabia to open up new routes in its network never possible before. EasyJet also firmed up orders for 12 more A320neo airplanes, taking its firm order backlog to now 159 A320neos. This order probably wasn't a surprise given the airline is not just the largest A320neo operator in Europe, but the largest A320 operator there in general, with its fleet of 333 airplanes. In another MOU, Air Senegal also picked up a fleet of 8 new Airbus A220 airplanes. This is also their first order for Airbus's latest single-aisle offering. Again, as Airbus has stopped posting list prices, the deal's precise values are not disclosed. Though from previous year's price lists, this deal is estimated to be worth around 730 million USD. This deal will allow Air Senegal to further grow its all-Airbus fleet of 3 A319s and 1 A330neo. The airline stated that the A220's impressive range and flexibility allows the airline to fly from its hub in Lagos, Dakar, to London. Deliveries of the jetliner will start in 2021 at a rate of 2 aircraft a year. The A220 is Airbus's smallest single-aisle offering with better fuel economy and the best cabin of any airplane in its segment. Moving from the smallest Airbus single-aisle to the largest, Flyners, Saudi Arabia's first low-cost airline, firmed up its order for 10 A321 XLR airplanes. With 80 A320neo family aircraft on order and 31 A320 airplanes split across CEO and NEO already in service, the new A321 XLR will complement the airline's fleet. Similar to Air Arabia, the airline will benefit from commonality between all A320 variants, flying domestic to now medium-haul missions. The A321XLR will enter service around 2023, though most deliveries are expected only in 2024. However, Airbus will certainly have many XLRs to deliver, with the stream of orders for this model continuously pouring in. After this announcement, GCAS, an aircraft leasing company set up by General Electric, placed an order for 20 A321XLR airplanes, with another order for 12 A330-900neos. It is worth noting that only 13 of the XLRs are new orders, as 7 were up conversions from the airline's current order backlog of A321neos. The deal for A330neos are interesting, not only as it is the only A330neo of the show, but as a GE-owned company would have placed orders for an airplane powered by Rolls-Royce engines, or bid for another customer. This goes against the company's policy for selecting GE engines for 99% of its jetliners, with the exception of aircraft that already had airline placement. The A330-900neo is powered by two Rolls-Royce Trent 7000 engines. Combined with new sharklets, wingspan extensions and system optimizations, the airplane burns 12% less fuel per trip and 14% less per seat. The lucky customer who will receive these 12 airplanes will thus benefit from low operating costs. All in all, while this year's Dubai Airshow may have got off to a paltry start, things picked up with an increasing rate of climb. No pun intended. It has been a busy year for both Airbus and Boeing, and this airshow is certainly a great way for them to end the year 2019. While both manufacturers had a decent show with a year-end boost in orders, they now face the difficult task of transferring orders to deliveries. Boeing is held up by its MAX airplanes, while Airbus is overbooked on their single-aisle A320neo family, with production snags preventing ramp-up beyond rate 63 by 2021. Nevertheless, this year's Dubai Airshow is certainly a great way for the aviation industry to end this decade. Let's all look forward to an exciting next decade, with things kicking off at next year's 2020 Singapore Airshow. As expected, we will meet then at Asia's aviation hub to kickstart the next decade of flying together with a bang. Until then, wishing you and everyone a truly clear sky ahead.